Who said we're alone? For the next 2 months, Earth will have a new celestial neighbor, a mini-moon. Asteroid 2024 PT5 was spotted on a trajectory toward Earth last month. Scientists say the small asteroid will temporarily enter our gravity in a horseshoe orbit starting September 29th and then leave almost as quickly as it came about 56 days later on November 25th.
So is the Earth getting a second moon? Kinda. Starting later this month, a rare mini-moon is going to briefly orbit our planet and then go off on its way. Not all relationships can last forever, and this one has an expiration date, November 25th, according to scientists. So I know what you're thinking. What on earth is a mini-moon?
Well, Earth will soon have a second moon. Say it ain't so. At least for a little while. The second moon is a celestial body known as 2024 PT5. Heard of it? Me either.
Earth is getting a second moon for a limited time. Astronomers say an asteroid will come close enough to Earth to temporarily enter its orbit at the end of the month. Let's bring in astrophysics professor Adam Frank from the University of Rochester for more. Adam, what can you tell us about this so-called mini-moon, and how does this work?
Yeah, so the idea here is that the solar system, which we think of as being pretty chill, just planets going around in circles forever, is actually pretty chaotic. And there's a lot of asteroids and comets flying around, and it's pretty dynamic in a lot of ways. And what we're having here is a asteroid, which is basically a flying mountain in space that usually orbits close to the Earth or orbits in the same distance from the sun as the Earth. And it's getting captured by the Earth's gravity, and it'll be part of the Earth-Moon system. It'll orbit the Earth for maybe about 2 months, and then it'll get flung back out. So we get a little teeny tiny little moon for about 2 months.
So I'm driving down the road with my friend. I look out the window and I see 2 moons. And I said, this is it. The rapture's about to happen. The rapture's about to happen.
And in my dream, I was outside. It was a quiet night. I was looking up at the sky, and it was 2 full moons next to each other in the sky. Up under the full moons, it was so weird. It was clocks. It was 2 clocks, and it was a calendar. But I couldn't make out what the calendar said, and I couldn't make out what the clock was saying. But in the dream, I knew that these 2 moons were related to the rapture, like they were signs that is soon.
I was dreaming that the reason for the 2 moon or planet alignment rapture dreams is a hint at timing, like a clock in the sky.
And then I also saw 2 big blood moons in the sky. And also when I saw them, I had this knowing that I knew the rapture was about to happen.
Yeah, I have received a rapture dream. Quite simple really, 2 planets together. A light from the heavens came around one of the planets in like a flash. It took a moment and went back up to where it came from. And I truly know that this was a rapture dream, and I know it means we're going soon.
I turn to my right and I see 2 blood moons. No, not 2 blood moons. I see 2 moons. 1 moon right here, 1 moon right here. And so I said, oh, do y'all know what that means? And it was like, nah. And I was just like, okay. I was like, well, it's very important, and it's about to be one of the best days of y'all life. And I started explaining about the rapture and the 2 moons and how I've been looking it up.
I asked the Lord if he would give me a dream or a vision to let me know that the rapture is definitely soon. So this evening, while lying on my couch and in and out of sleep, I saw 2 huge moons in the sky, one behind the other.
So I look up at the sky, and I'm looking at the beautiful blue of the sky, and then suddenly I notice, the full moon, and it didn't faze me. And then I saw a second moon, and I was like, oh no, here we go again. And I literally said that. I said, oh no, here we go again. And so I grabbed this kid that was walking in the park next to me. I said, hey kid, come here. Do you see 2 moons? And he goes, oh yeah, I see 2 moons. I'm starting to realize what God is doing. It seems like a countdown with these dreams.
I saw the same 2 moons I saw in the other dream. One was a blood moon, different than before, and the other was white as snow. Then the planets aligned around them in a row. I remember running and telling people something big was coming, knowing in my heart we would be raptured soon.
I had a dream. This was a porch. We were sitting out on this porch looking up at the sky. All of a sudden, I saw this. These were like, I don't know if they were like moon phases or what, but I seen them like that, and then they were just went like that, and it went into one moon. When it did that, I got super, like, I just knew that the rapture was about to happen at that very moment.
I had a dream where it was a bright, sunny day, and I walk outside my house and I see the moon in the sky. It's a full moon. And I'm just staring at it. And the next point in the dream is a larger moon has appeared beside it. And it's taking up a lot of the sky. So this is like the medium-sized moon has appeared. And in the dream, I know that this is signifying this is the end. I feel like we are at the end soon, to be honest. I feel like God gave me these dreams because it was going to happen in my lifetime.
I dreamed about a rapture, but I remember seeing two moons, and I'm gonna get back to that. It was 2 moons, and then a great big huge, I don't know if it was a circle or another moon, but following, well, along with that circle or another moon was like reddish orange skies. And everyone is like, Jesus, 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 he's coming, he's coming. Others was like zapped up. It was just like the movies. It was just zapped up like the movies. And yeah, it was just like the movies. But as I remember in my dream, as I was going up, I was, you know, crying and thanking him and everything. I was so excited. In my dream, I'm thinking, like, to me, the moons looked fake. They looked fake. They were giant and they looked fake. They didn't look like the real moons. I've already seen a fake moon once, so I guess when they put 2 in the sky, that's when we need to look up.
But we were just playing, and something told me to look up. And so I looked up and I seen 2 moons. And they were like off center like this. And I was just looking because I was like, man, well, I told my friends who were on the game, I'm like, there's 2 moons, man. There's 2 moons. And they were just like, what? And they just start laughing, like, what are you talking about? And I'm just like, dude, there's 2 moons, look up. And then I just kept looking up, and I just woke up, like, out of nowhere. It was crazy. And then after that, every time I have a rapture dream, I just can't go back to bed because I'm just thinking about it. Because, like, what does it mean, you know? And a lot of people all over the world are having the same dream of 2 moons. And only through Jesus Christ that we can be saved, because he died for us. He paid our fines, and he died on the cross. He's literally God, and he died for all of us. And we're selfish. We don't deserve it. But he loves us anyway. So, I'll let you guys go. I get super emotional when I talk about him. Because I wasted 30 years not knowing him. So don't waste another second, please. Or this is gonna be too late.
It was several months ago, and I had that dream that there was 2 huge spheres, like right on the horizon, and they were blue. And it was really strange to me in the dream. I remember I was like, okay, are these moons or what? Like, I didn't know what they were. They were huge though, like massive. They took up the whole like line of vision that I could see. I thought it was really strange because they were blue. And the fact that in August there's going to be a blue moon because there's 2 full moons in the same month. That's really interesting to me. That definitely gets my attention. Is it pointing to this time, to this season that we're in now? It seems like it. So I'm excited. And there's a lot of things that are happening around the world at this time. If it was just that 1 or 2 dreams that I had, and, you know, maybe a couple things that other people had that also goes together, maybe it wouldn't be as exciting. But with everything going on, and the dreams and the visions that we're having that are correlated, that are all like lining up nicely, I think it's a very good time for us to be looking up. and to be encouraged and to encourage one another with these things, because I definitely see the day approaching and it's coming fast, guys, and it's very exciting. Very exciting. So I'll leave you with that. Take it to the Lord, pray about it, just like I've been doing. And you know, today I didn't pray too hard about it. I was like, God, just help me to, you know, only speak the words that you want me to speak. But I want to get this out here to y'all because I think it's exciting. I think with everything going on, everything's pointing to the soon coming, to the soon appearing of Jesus for us. And if we can't be excited about seeing Jesus as his people, as his children, what can we be excited about? So let's be happy, encouraged, joyful, and worshiping and in prayer and in the Word.
So I had this dream May 22nd, 2021. And in the dream, I am sitting in a house that is not my own. And when I go outside, I see huge in my face, a huge, low and close to the earth blood moon. Red, orange, very detailed, crisp moon, full and vivid and bright. And it was like just jaw-dropping, like, what is this moon doing so close to Earth? Almost concerning, but there was no fear. And behind this huge blood moon was like a crescent moon, like just slightly behind it, but farther away and smaller, was like a regular size, just normal crescent moon. And so there was two moons in the sky, side by side. Again, one was much closer, much bigger. The other one was smaller, and you could tell like a little bit more distant. And so when I saw this, I automatically knew in my spirit, like at that moment, that the rapture was about to take place. Like I just had this knowing in my spirit.
In this dream, I looked up and seen this eclipse happen. It was two moons. So when I seen that, when I looked up, I started hear a trumpet that was blowing. It was like bong, like it was like long. And instantly in my spirit, I knew the rapture was about to happen when I heard that trumpet. So the dream was like a confirmation when I heard the trumpet in the dream. And it's like I instantly knew in my spirit that the rapture is about to happen.
I want to share with you a dream that I had 2 nights ago from the Lord. He has been confirming this dream to me a lot. And I was just watching this moon, and then this smaller moon that was much brighter than this moon came in the scenery, and it was somewhere around here, and it just went in this motion in front of the moon and just out of the scenery. Just this much smaller moon and brighter. And when I saw this moon, I knew that the rapture will be taking place the same night. I just knew that in my spirit that the rapture was going to happen.
I had a dream. They kind of looked like the moon, but they were blue. So they were like this, like really bright blue, and they were huge. And like they were right at the horizon. I mean, they were like right at like eye level when you're looking out, but they were huge. Like, I mean, not like a normal size moon at all. He's holding onto this pole, and all of a sudden the wind is blowing, and all of a sudden he goes phew, up, like into the sky. And at that moment, I'm like, it's the rapture! I'm next! And then I woke up. And it was very cool. It seemed very real. It seemed like I was really there. It was super exciting. And, you know, I don't know if it's, you know, if it's God saying, hey, this is how it's going to play out. Or, I mean, 2 moons, I don't know. Maybe, like, trying to say that, you know, maybe, like, there'll be this big, huge moon, and then you'll see another big, huge moon, and then around that time, might be around the time that he's coming for us. Maybe.
I had a dream that I saw a big moon, okay? It was big, right in my face, big moon. And in this big moon, it was a little bit hazy. Like, it was hard to see the clarity of the moon, but then it became more clear. It was a big moon, really big. And then on the upper right side, I saw a normal sized moon. The kind of moon you normally see from Earth. Like when you look up, you see the moon, it's that size. But this moon right in my face was a huge moon, okay? So there's 2 moons in my dream. Then at that moment, I knew the rapture was happening. And I woke up and the dream ended.
Everyone was outside looking up at the moon because there was another planet. There was a planet next to the moon that was almost the same size as the moon. It was bright. It almost looked like another moon. And everyone was looking at this. Everyone was outside. And there was such a peaceful feeling. It was very calm and peaceful. If this was something that was happening in reality and not in a dream, that would really scare me to see a planet as big as the moon, that close to the Earth. But it wasn't scary. It was I felt very calm. It was unbelievably peaceful. All of a sudden, without warning, I started to rise off of the ground. And I remember thinking, wow, the rapture's happening. It's finally happening. And it was just such a unbelievable excitement and joy that I felt that the rapture was finally happening after waiting for it and hearing about it my whole life and, you know, reading about it and anticipating this event, and then it was finally happening. I just felt overwhelming excitement and joy.
So here's the dream. I'm driving around in my Jeep and I have my kids with me and my husband. Some very weird things had unfolded right before I saw the 2 celestial objects in the sky. And I look up and in the night sky, I see 2 red moons. I remember thinking in the dream that they could have been moons. And I remember thinking in the dream, oh my goodness, I remember some of my subscribers telling me they've seen 2 moons. And I was talking to my girls and saying, Jesus is coming, Jesus is coming. And I was jumping up and down and I was so excited and I knew we were just about to go home.
I had another rapture dream basically, but in this one it was interesting because it kind of explained the mystery of the 2 moons, because there was 2 moons again in this one. But this time they seem to converge in this dream, and I kind of thought of an eclipse type thing going on. But anyways, so in that dream I saw those 2 moons, right? And I saw an event basically happening in the sky. That event happened where they kind of merged and aligned, and then the next thing the dream moves to after the rapture. It made sense when it happened. Like, I understood what the 2 moons meant, like what was going on.
It was a really short dream, but very vivid. In it, I was walking down my favorite place by the river at night, and the moon was so bright. It was a full moon. But when I looked up again, I saw a smaller moon next to it. It was like a very smaller version of a full moon right next to that moon. And I was like, oh wow, and I just knew the rapture was about to happen. It was like, it's here, it's the 2 moons. The rapture is gonna happen. Others believed me and were excited. And then there were others who believed me and they're like, oh no. They like believed me, but they didn't want to go. Like, they were believers. I could tell, you know, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna get raptured. But they didn't want to go. They were all on like laptops or their phones, and they were just, let me finish this real quick. I have to do this really quick. They just were not prepared and didn't want to be raptured yet. So then it ended. So that was really all there was to that one. I thought it was really cool that I had a 2 moon rapture dream, because I've seen so many dreams like that. And then just last night I had the second 2 moon dream. So kind of everyone is together, and all of a sudden I looked out and I saw a blood moon, like a huge red moon. And it was so big and bright and just red, like super red. And I thought, oh wow, like that's a really crazy moon. Then I saw it was an eclipse, like it was eclipsed. Everything I felt, like I can still feel exactly what I felt in that moment. Like, wow, this is real, we're gonna get raptured. There's the blood moon eclipse, and there's 2 moons. We were just all standing there waiting, looking at this blood moon, this beautiful blood moon eclipse. And it just wasn't happening, but we just knew it was going to any second. And when she said, no, it's not Rosh Hashanah, it's Tuesday. I cannot make this up. I looked at the date of this blood moon, and it is Tuesday. Like the 8th of November is a Tuesday.
So in my dream, I was at my grandmother's house. My friends were over, and my friends' sisters were over. And so I was in the living room. You know, it was really thundering. The lights were off in the living room, and the TV was messing up. You know, just really messing up because of the weather. And then my auntie was in the kitchen. I think she was making dinner. And so I looked out on my left side, and I see the moon, and I said, wow. The moon was so big. I mean, it was just so big. And I said, Javon, come on, I'm gonna show you something. You know, his sisters came out and everybody else came out. I said, the moon is so big. And he looked outside and said, wow. And I said, wow. And it was thundering, you know, it was like, poof, you know how thunder sounds, and raining. And so they went outside. I was like, be careful, because you might get struck by lightning. And we all went outside to experience this amazing moon. And I was thinking in my head, and I was wondering, and my auntie was wondering, if this moon represented one of the blood moons that Jesus Christ was coming. The moon was pretty big, and she said, if the moon is red, I think Jesus is coming. And I said, oh my gosh, he is coming. And so I just barged outside with them, and the moon was so big. I mean, how can I explain it? It was like the moon was literally on the grass. It was like literally like an orb, like a big giant orb floating off the grass. But I knew the moon was over her horizon, because how can the moon float off the grass? Like it was like the moon was literally on Earth, like inside of Earth. And so they went back inside because it was raining. It was thundering way too hard, and then the moon, you know, was still there. And then we went back inside, and everybody was like, you know, wow, that's pretty big, you know, my friends, sisters and stuff. And so I went to the front door, and I jumped off the deck, and then the porch I meant. And so my grandmother just arrived to her house, and went straight to her car. And I said, Grandmother, look at the moon. And she said, wow. And all of a sudden like something told me to look up. I looked up, and I said, wait a second. Is that the moon? Wait, there was 2 moons. 2. I looked up, and I saw the real moon, like the real moon, because usually in South Carolina the moon doesn't really get that big. It was a full moon, and the moon was literally above me. Like the moon was like about to go over, and the sun was about to come up. But it was like maybe like 2 o'clock in the morning probably. And then I was like, wait a second, if that's the full moon, and then my grandmother said, they go on look, and that's I can't explain it. The moon, the full moon, was falling apart. Like it was almost, imagine like glass, and you know how the glass falls. Imagine like Legos, and how the Legos, when they all collapse, it was basically like the moon, the full moon was basically falling apart by like shards. And then all of a sudden, as it fell apart, everything just came in and exploded. And then it was a planet, a golden planet. It was like dusty and golden. I was like, wow, this can't be real. And then I woke up out of my dream saying, this cannot be real. I was so sad. I was like, why am I saying this? I was like, this cannot be real.